We recognize that the conversation you've just had is much harder and more complicated for some people than for others. Perhaps you've focused on things from your upbringing that cause painful memories. And we want to encourage you that healing childhood pain is possible. We're not fixed into patterns of behavior by our past.
We'd also suggest getting expert help if you know this is a challenging area for you. We've talked to many couples where one or both of them have had very difficult backgrounds, who've built and go on building a very strong and secure marriage. Their marriage has become that secure base and safe haven for adventure and security.
We want to focus for the last part of this session on 2 practical steps for addressing pain from childhood. These steps apply whether that's for yourself or for your partner. There may be something major that's obviously affecting one of you, or it may be something quite small that you haven't voiced before. And you may need your partner's help to recognize areas that you're blind to out of loyalty to a parent. We want to encourage you to be sensitive and gentle in how you do this.
The first step is to grieve our own and our partner's unmet needs, where a parent or parents have failed us. We may never have admitted, even to ourselves, the hurt we've experienced, and doing so is a huge step forward.
Grief is a process that implies there's been loss. Applying the word grief to an early childhood, it could be a missed childhood. There are some children who never really had a childhood. They just had to grow up very quickly. So there's that loss of a childhood. But the thing to remember is that grief has different stages and it's a process. So as a partner, make sure you communicate to your partner who's been hurt that you respect them and you trust them and they can trust you, so they can open up and share their hurts, which they may never have shared with anybody else ever, and they may have buried as children. If as a partner they see you as being understanding, non-judgmental, supportive, they would hopefully get to the point where they feel they can share some really deep hurts. So with the healing process, there might be stops and starts, and you just keep walking alongside them, holding them by the hand, literally or metaphorically, and just encouraging them and telling them they can do it.
It's helpful to recognize that recovery is a process with which we can help our partner. Marriage can either make the sadness we feel from our past worse or help to heal it. If your husband or wife has unmet childhood needs, it's so important that you seek to understand them and give them the gift of your emotional support as they walk the sometimes long road of recovery. This draws us together as a couple.
非常想跟别人建立健康的关系，被父母忽略的孩子和缺失父母双方或者是缺失其中一方的孩子，他们在后来人生成长过程中间的确会遇到一些困难，比如说他们可能会去寻找补偿，或者如果情况比较麻烦的话，他们可能就需要得到专业的帮助，使他们能够意识到过去自己的缺失，以及这种缺失对他们后来跟人建立关系意味着什么。当他们进入了婚姻，我想有2个方面使他们能够慢慢的经历成长和做出改变和建立新型的关系。第一个方面就是他们夫妻双方能够彼此都意识到在他成长的过程中间有这样一种空缺，有这样一种缺失，有这样被忽略的经历，这是第一步。第2步就是给他们足够的关怀，足够的支持，足够的满足。因为非常容易造成的一个麻烦就是那些造成过缺失、经历过缺失的孩子，被忽略的孩子，他们会要求得到完美的补偿，希望对方对他们的关怀啊，对他们的支持，对他们的爱是完美的。那么在这一点上，他们的配偶对方就要帮助他们意识到说，我不是你的父母， 我不是你缺乏的那个父母，我跟你一样是一个个体，我们要一起建立新的关系，使我们在新的关系里边得到满足。
The second step is to forgive. Forgiveness is essential for healing and for dealing with buried anger from our past. As we said in the last session, forgiveness is an act of the will. We may not feel like it, but it's the only way to be set free. And if we've been deeply hurt, the forgiveness needs to be an ongoing process each time the pain resurfaces.
And as we keep forgiving, the memories will gradually have less and less power over us. Whether or not our parents have changed or indeed even recognize how they've hurt us, we need to choose to forgive. A friend of ours shared her story with us. I had a stepfather named John. My mother married him when I was 7 and divorced him when I was 15. The application for divorce was made on the grounds of mental cruelty. My childhood was a nightmare. My biggest wish was to grow up as quickly as possible to get away from the situation. I am now 33. I've carried the burden of these memories and the hate around for 18 years, despite becoming a committed Christian 2 years ago. It was the one part of my life that was simply a no-go area. I was desolate. How could I possibly forgive John for what he'd done? Where would be the justice in that? I was the child. I was the victim. I hadn't seen him since I was 15. He wasn't even asking for forgiveness. I began to see that I needed to deal with this once and for all. Unless I wanted 18 years to turn to 28, 38, 48 with no end. I prayed, lay awake for several nights, cried and prayed some more. Then I wrote John a letter, forgiving him for the hurt and anguish I'd experienced as a child in his care. As I wrote, I had no idea if he was even aware of the impact that that part of his life had had on mine. I decided to leave that part up to God. But I knew as I sent the letter that I had been set free.
It's important to remember that forgiving someone is not condoning their actions or giving them the right to repeat what they've done. Forgiveness is about being set free from the ways they've hurt you. We subsequently heard that her stepfather made contact with her. He was unable to see the damage he caused her or why he needed her forgiveness. But despite the fact that they didn't reconcile, she still experienced complete freedom from the pain he'd caused her.
Circumstances may mean we're unable to express forgiveness directly to the person who's let us down, but we can still choose to forgive in order to be set free from the hurt and the pain that have built up inside us over time.
Unforgiveness hurts only us. Buried hurt can feel like your 2 hands are full of sand, and the sand can feel heavy with the pain, the injustice, the unresolved anger. Forgiveness is like opening your hands, your fingers, and allowing the sand to run through. Then you're free to act like that secure base and safe haven for each other in your marriage.